Wait. Kiss. Okay. Speak. Go. He literally roofed. So one of the first Tai Chi forms that I teach my students is the Beijing 24. Now the Beijing 24 is a really interesting Tai Chi form. It occupies a really interesting space in the evolution of Tai Chi. So as we know, there's Tai Chi comes from a really deep source from a long time ago, right? And part of that is the Qin village, the Qin Tai Chi that comes from there, that went to Beijing, that developed into the Yang style of Tai Chi. And then as time went on, the Beijing 24 was developed around the mid-20th century as a way to create some standards and to create a simplified version of the long form that still had the essence of Yang style training. So it allows us to really have a nice area of practice, the Beijing 24. The Beijing 24 is 24 movements, and I'm gonna go through really quickly the first section, because this is where we start. And it's a really nice logical sequence, raising hands. I'm just walking through it so people can have a visual for what we're talking about. Parting horse's mane, repeated 3 times as you transition through ocean stepping. Coming into white crane, spreads its wings. Tiger washes face, brush knee. Also with rollback stepping, done 3 times. Into playing the peepaw. And there's the finish of the first section of the Beijing 24. And this constitutes the majority of people's Tai Chi practice when they start, right? Everybody goes through this first section, so it's a very important section. And like I said, this form was created with intention to really express the practice of Tai Chi. And so what is the practice of Tai Chi? How do we connect to it? Well, it's the practice of energies. Energies that we can feel easily in the body. Things like advance, retreat, turn right, turn left, ward off, pull back, push, press. These things that we can connect to on a real physical level because we have experience doing these things in our day-to-day lives, pushing things, keeping things at bay, right? Advancing forward. But what really is important is how do we practice these things? So first, let's practice a little bit together and look and see how we do it. We start off here with basic body circles. This is one of the first exercises I teach my Tai Chi students. We stand in a really simple horse stance, a baby horse stance, and we shift to one side, creating a sense of full and empty in the body from side to side. We lower it under the ground, shift it over, raise it up. And then just continue this. And we can do this in one direction continuously for 8, 10 repetitions, or we can switch each time. And our goal is to relax, move from center as center, and begin to observe our posture and our movement. Noticing empty, full, and how are we making that happen using our shape, using our movement, moving from center as center. And there's a lot of mechanics, a lot of principles, a lot of things we can talk about, like the 3 internal harmonies, the 3 external harmonies, the 5 bows, the 5 curves. The 3 bows and the 5 curves. Lots of different stuff, but in reality, it's just relax, be present, move from center, empty, full, okay? This gets us into one of the sort of core aspects of our Tai Chi practice. We're looking to harmonize yin and yang in the body. So what does that mean? What we talk about it in practical senses, this means more coordination. Coordinating the movement of our body from left and right, front to back, top to bottom. With better coordination, we can have better expression of the principles, harmonizing yin and yang. And so here, this first body circle helps us find empty full, which is an aspect of yin and yang. We notice how to transfer our weight under the ground to the other leg and back, how to transfer it over and across the waist. And over time, we learn how to maintain the structural integrity of our posture better as we're doing this. And we're cultivating a really simple understanding of empty, full. We can take that into the next energies that we work on, which is turning, advancing, okay? And we can build our practice together. So here we create an empty full in this body circle. And now instead of just doing a simple body circle where we're really trying to create a sense of our frame, we are going to turn the wheel. Now, turning the wheel means turning the outside edge of the body, keeping full and empty. So from the back, from here, I've created full, empty, and I turn the wheel. When you turn the wheel, you're turning the outside of the body, so you feel the shape change. When you do this, you're now oriented more towards the side. So if this was north, I'm turning this direction to go that way. So now that we have empty, full, and Truman's coming to inspect my stances. Here, now the next cue that we take in the body is advance. So we advance over the other leg. Now that advancing over this leg should change empty, full. You've been studying how to change empty, full in the previous exercise. Now we turn to center and beyond fully to the other side. Now I'm oriented all the way over here and I can advance to this side, okay? Turn, empty, full, advance. Turn, empty, full, advance. Now when we turn, we want to feel like I keep the belly open. So as we turn, we don't feel like we're twisting across our belly. The belly's open. We can feel this direct path across our hip into this solid position with a little bit of built up energy that we can take to the other side. So turn, advance, turn, advance. And then all we do is retreat to change it. Turn, retreat. Retreat, we want to think of moving from center as center. And the hands positions, I like to do a bunch of different hand positions for this. This is one I'll do. Here's another one. Here, right? Up here, the harumph, okay? And then you can just go back and forth, retreating, starting to smooth it out. Advancing, starting to smooth it out. And one thing I want to point out, knees, not that. You notice I don't go to the inside, outside edge of my foot. I'm keeping my foot nice and flat and whole on the ground. I'm not too concerned if it does this kind of stuff. I want to feel it coming up into my hips. So as I turn, I'm keeping vertical energy coming up here so I don't twist my belly. My belly feels nice and open. I can move into the strength of my hip complex and the whole waist, okay? So this is really important because what is Tai Chi known for? They say, Bei Tui Nan Chun, Tai Chi Yao, Bagua Bufa. It means south stances, south fist, northern leg, Tai Chi waist, Bagua footwork. Okay, this is a saying. And so Tai Chi waist, we got to build how we move. It's not just about having a strong waist, it's about how we move our waist. And so finding how to create empty, full, okay? Turn the waist rather than twisting the belly, advancing to get over and make that change, and then just repeating until we find it, okay? And so those are really core basic energies in Tai Chi. Advance, retreat, turn left, turn right, and then creating that change, empty, full, and also open and close. And so as we study this, we can now take these concepts and bring them in how we move our body through the form. So as we go through the form, we have what we're doing up here, all these different Tai Chi movements, but the energy is coming up from the bottom. So we have to understand what is the base material that we're cultivating from the ground up that we're gonna eventually change. And we have a whole nother thing we do that works on how we change the idea of just pushing into ward off that we're gonna have in another video actually coming out soon that you'll be able to check out. But for this one, I want you just to observe. You can do it along with me if you'd like. but you can notice how I use those concepts that I just worked on. So I shift and create empty full. There's a turn of my waist to create a new orientation, a shift to change empty full. I turn my waist, retreat, advance, and collect. Feel empty full, turn into position. There's ways over time you can blend these things. I can shift to advance, turn into position. Advance a little, retreat a little. Just focus on advancing the body, retreating the body. So you can see, as I work through and start to demo through those movements, I can put my focus really into the deeper motions of my movement and be less concerned with what's happening up here for the time being, right? Because we're at the beginning of our practice, and this is also the root of our practice. We should be able to do our Tai Chi like this, without having to use the arms. Just like we should be able to do our Tai Chi without having to use the legs eventually, right? It should all be within your practice. But it's a process of onboarding, of training, of working through the movements together. And there's no rush. To quote Chen Manqing, one of the great teachers of the 20th century, when somebody asked him, how long does it take to learn the long form? And he said 2 years. He goes, oh, what if I try really hard? And he said, 3 years. Because there's no reinventing the wheel. We just want to be patient and enjoy the ride, enjoy the process. And so this is some of the ways that we use classical Yang style principles, right? These principles and these energies existed before these forms were created. So this is where we want to have our source material coming from. And then we can overlay them with this really beautiful form, the Beijing 24, that has its own really distinct history and flavor and was created with the intention of a simple practice that has the essence of Tai Chi. So that's how we practice here with my students and in the Rooted Alchemy community. If you're interested in learning more, getting a little bit deeper into this practice, go check out our school community. We're there for you to help you along the way.